Hello everyone and welcome to another movie review by Centipede Geek. In this video, I'll be talking about a much anticipated French film by the name of Titane. I've been looking forward to this one for a very long time. Like I said, it comes from France. You can describe it as a body horror film. Forgive me if there are any mispronunciations along the way, as I'll go throughout some of the names of the director and some of the actors and actresses in the film. Written and directed by a girl by the name of Julia Ducournau. It was a feature film debut, plays the character of Alexia. Her name is Agatha or Agathe Rizal. And then it also stars Vincent London, Garance Mallier, and then Leia Samalia. And once again, forgive the mispronunciations. It premiered at the Cannes Film Festival the 13th of July of this year. The director became the second female director, according to my sources, to win the Palme d'Or Award, which is the festival's top award, as well as the first female filmmaker to win solo. And then I'll put another really cool fact on there that I actually found out doing some prior research on the film Titane that I actually just found out, but I don't want to talk too much about that till later on. What's this French film by the name of Titane about? Just so everyone knows, there will be heavy spoilers ahead, just so everyone knows. But for the non-spoiler part, let's get to the plot at least, right? This young girl was in this car accident when she was younger, and a metal plate is inserted inside of her head, or a titanium plate, should I say, and it helps her to have she was in a car accident, it helps her to have a somewhat livable and functional life. That's pretty much the gist of the beginning of the movie, and then it kind of like jumps into the future when she's older, and I don't want to spoil too much about that for those of you who haven't seen it, but she goes on kind of this weird journey throughout her life, and it takes her a lot of places and stuff like that. But let's get to the spoiler-heavy part of the video. This is one of those movies that I loved, I really enjoyed. There is nothing at all wrong with this film. I even found out doing some prior research, and this isn't the fact that I pointed out earlier, but another fun fact, that I believe this movie got about an 8 or 9, when it premiered at one of the festivals it premiered at, it got about an 8 or 9 minute standing ovation, and that's very crazy. I thought it's probably very rare that you get a standing ovation at all, let alone a standing ovation that lasts 8 or 9 minutes. And if you look that up, I believe you'll see that. I forget which film festival it was. I believe it was something about Spike Lee had been the one to accidentally announce the movie or something like that when me and my wife were doing a little bit of research on this movie, on this French film by the name of Titane. This is one of those movies that has a lot of deep layers to it. It's almost an insult to the movie to call it just a body horror film, because it's so much more than a horror film. Yes, it starts off like that, but it ends up being about this girl who, she has this weird, almost obsessive-like fascination with cars, and then ends up having like this dreamlike sequence where she ends up having sex with a car, and then it seems that she ends up getting pregnant because of this, and then, like I said, later, spoilers up ahead, she ends up having like this part car, part human hybrid of a baby, and then she ends up, because she's killed all these people, a serial killer of sorts, she ends up having to pose as a disguise, and she sees like these missing and exploited children poster, and she poses as this really scary in a way, and really very kind of sad in a way too. She poses as this father's estranged missing son that's been missing for like 20 some odd years. And at first the father really believes it's his son, and they grow this very strange bond that hinges on being romantic at times, but not quite. At least doesn't get romantic till towards the end of the movie maybe. And then, even though he finds out at the end of the movie that it's not really his son, he ends up loving Alexis just as if it was his son. They grow this really cool and this really intimate bond that, like I said, becomes almost a little romantic at the end. So it's so much more than a body horror film. Yeah, it has its moments of blood and gore and people getting killed and stabbed and stuff like that, but it becomes much more deeper, intricate relationship between this father-son-daughter relationship where they start to grow this bond, and she has these moments where she wants to kill the guy, because of certain events going on, but she has several opportunities to kill this father character, but because of the relationship they have grown together, she decides to pass upon that opportunity. And because of not killing him, they end up growing, like I said, this very strange and odd relationship. And there's some great scenes where they're like dancing together. There's a great scene towards the end where he has sort of these feelings where he thinks he knows that it's a girl and it's not really a son. But then the towel falls off in the bathroom, and he doesn't have, he ends up putting the towel back on her, and he decides to love her anyways. He finds out her real name there at the end. She ends up being pregnant, and then she dies because of that. Almost like all the trauma, the mental trauma, the physical trauma, all the abuse she has faced over the years comes to a breaking point for her. She dies, and now pretty much, he was a father to Alexis, but he gets to be the father to the son that he always wanted to have. And I just thought when I watched that scene, and really just the whole movie in general, such a beautiful scene, such a beautiful film. It's got so many layers to it, as it talks about not only mental trauma, but talks about physical trauma. And it does it in such an interesting fashion, as we have these weird dreamlike sequences where she's having sex with the car, almost as if it's a way of dealing with her trauma. The only way of dealing with the emotional stress and physical trauma, the only way that she knows how, right? There's just so many layers to this film. Overall, a great film. You can tell that I like the film a lot. I don't have anything bad to say about it. The actress, what's her name again, plays the character of Agatha Rosell, or that's the actress's name. The character is Alexis. She's great in this role. The father is also great in this role. There's some great actors and actresses in this role. It currently holds an 88% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes. They call it a thrillingly provocative and original. Titane reaffirms writer-director delightfully disturbing vision, and obviously it had generally favorable reviews. The fact that I wanted to point out earlier is apparently it was selected as the French entry into the Best International Feature Film at the 94th Academy Awards. So now I had no idea when I watched it, no idea that this film would be an Oscar film next March. So it'll be really cool. I obviously haven't watched any of the other international feature films. I don't know what they're going to be about, but it would be really cool to see a film like Titane and everything that it's about, how deep and intricate the film can be about trauma and mental and physical abuse, and films like this, in my opinion, don't get nominated, let alone even win an Oscar very often. Films like Parasite and The Shape of Water, these sort of different films, and we've seen films like this, not that I want to compare this film to that, but films that have sort of that romantic, sort of horror feeling to them, and they happen to win Oscars over the years. It's cool to see a film like Titane at least be nominated, and then we'll find out in March of next year whether it wins or not. Once again, thanks for watching my review of the body horror film by the name of Titane. Like I said, so many intricate layers. This is one of those films that's thought-provoking. You could go on and on about all the traumas. You could say that the movie is about body dysmorphia, as she wraps her body in gauze, trying to make herself look more manly. There's so many different layers of what this movie could really truly be about as you continue to dissect it. Thanks for watching my review of Titane. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe below, and as always, thanks for watching.